I'm Lola Shaoul. I'm in 11th grade and I go to Dr. Michael Kropp Senior High.
Awesome. Thank you. What happened that made you realize that you needed our service?
So I didn't really score as well as I was like hoping on the PSAT, and I knew I needed somebody to like help me bring up my score significantly.
So the event was the literal PSAT.
PSAT, yeah, I saw that and I was like, I know like these like my skills in math are not as strong as they could be. And I was like, I've always been good at math. I love math. It's just the pandemic really like that got to me. And I was like, you know what? I realized I forgot a lot of things that I learned in middle school. So I was like, I need a refresher.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
realized that really quick. So
What math class are you in?
calculus.
Okay, so you're in calculus.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Now, the funny part about that is, I'm sure you noticed how much calculus was on this test.
Not really. It was more like geometry, like algebra one, which like I learned so long ago. So I forgot.
Exactly. Exactly
Yeah.
my point. There is no calculus on this test.
Yeah. I was like,
You were like, wait, sir,
yeah.
you missed that part. The the only part that's like yeah, you do some stuff in calculus that is on the test, but that's because you do like it's the algebra stuff in calculus that like
Yeah,
you
it's
need
the
algebra
algebra.
for calculus,
Yeah.
but it's fundamentally algebra stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big issue that I see, like very, very common, which is funny, It's like they designed this test that doesn't really test the advanced kids on what the advanced kids are learning. So it happens all the time, unless the person's in like math club or I don't know. They just
If they're learning it now, it kind of benefits them. But like since like I'm so advanced in math, like in school, I learned that in middle school. And with COVID, I was online, you know?
yeah.
So it was like just it was a mess. And I was like, I know like your program is gonna teach me the stuff that I missed. So
How'd you hear about us? Like, what made you so confident about it?
I mean, so I started on one-on-one tutoring, and honestly, after like two sessions, I realized like it wasn't gonna work for me. So me and my parents, like we both started asking around, and like piece of pie kept on coming up like over and over again from like both of us, like my mom's friends, my friends. So we were like, maybe this is a sign, you know? Like,
Ooh.
so
When it comes like when you say your friends, was it like kids in school or whatever?
yeah, it was like kids in school talking about it. And then like when we went on the Instagram, because we someone told us like look at the improvements on the Instagram, like whatever. So we went on the Instagram and we saw like every kid went up like 100+ points. And it was
No.
kids that like I knew from my school and like I knew from other schools. So I was like, this is trustworthy, you know? Like
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
these people. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, they're not fake. They're not actors, paid actors.
yeah.
So that's cool. And I mean, so okay, so that's how you heard about us, and you're feeling pretty confident from what you saw on the Instagram page.
Yeah.
And you had done when you say you had done tutoring before, was this private tutoring?
Yeah, it was private tutoring, and I don't know, I didn't really know either if it was like when like I was introduced to the group learning like from your page when I was signing up, I was like, I don't know, you know. I was not sure. I wasn't sure to expect because I've never done, you know, group learning, but I don't know, one-on-one wasn't working for me, so I was like, this is like completely different, you know. This could be really good.
Well, I mean, look, it's what I tell people. It's
Hmm.
not that one-on-one doesn't work.
Yeah.
I think the thing is not it's not about it being one-on-one versus group. It's about just being like our program versus the other program. Like, I don't know.
No, yeah, but I mean, I don't know, specifically like group learning in the end, like I really loved it. Like I think it helped me like one of the most things, obviously the work, but you know, like the tutors being engaging and like making sure that like we understand the lessons and like being relatable, you know, it just like fit my personality. Like that's what I liked. I like to be talking and you know, like helps me understand the concepts, you know, better.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, it's not there is it is a different
Dynamic.
vibe like when you're just one-on-one talking to each other versus there's this group of kids that are kind of at the same level,
Mhm.
right?
piece. Yeah.
and everybody has different questions. And then, and whenever it's a group, I mean, I taught, my whole life. You approach it different as a teacher because you're not
Yeah.
just it's not just one person. You're having to like keep this group engaged, so you end up kind of putting in more energy too. Like the teacher ends up being more like active and calling on people, and because otherwise, I mean, you'll lose people. I mean, that's what happened in the pandemic, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
How different was it? Like, how would you compare it to, I don't know, Zoom school back in the day?
I mean, for me, like when I was in Zoom, like in school, it was for like a bunch of different subjects. So it was like, okay, like, and then it was like, also like pop was 5 hours. I mean, it's also a long time, but 4 hours. But for school, it was just like a bunch of different subjects. And I was like losing it. I was like in my house, like I just woke up, it's like completely different vibe for me. Like this was like, I have to do good on the SAT. Like, it's coming, like this is a test, like there's a specific date. I know like that this is gonna help me. It's worked for everyone, it's gonna work for me. Like I'm dedicating myself to this.
You kind of touched on this in the beginning, but I'm gonna ask it to you again. In the past, when friends have asked you about it, like, what do you usually tell them, right? Like, what should they know about our course?
I tell them exactly, I go, if you really want to put the time and the effort and complete that the work they assign to you in like a timely manner, you can definitely achieve your goal. Like whatever your goal is, you're going to achieve it. Like do the work, expect improvements.
And when you say do the work, I mean, do you let them know that it's a good amount of work?
Yeah, I mean, I tell them, like, I mean, I make it clear that if you're ready, like, to be consistent with your work and you're ready to get thrown at you a bunch of people telling you to do the work, like, they're super consistent with you. So, like, you're not going to get away with it. Like, you're going to have to do it. So, if you're ready for that, like, do it. Peace bye.
How'd you manage the workload though? Did you have like a strategy of how you spread it
Well,
out, or you just kind of winging it?
honestly, like you guys telling us to do the schedules, like I thought like in the beginning I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make one and like see if I can actually follow it. But I realized that it actually helped me. Like I was like, okay, on Monday I'm just gonna do these two. Instead of like, I feel like if I didn't have the schedules, I would be like, Wednesday I'm doing five of them and whatever. Like I'm just not gonna do anything today, Like
Yeah.
the schedules really kept me intact. And if I had a test the next day, I would try to like maybe do one instead of two, or like try to do two if it was like smaller. But the schedules, that was like that really helped me too. Like
So it helped you not procrastinate, basically.
exactly. And it was like telling me like it made me realize like on Friday, oh, I have two more and I'm done. And
Right.
then it's a cycle. So
Nice. Top two things, to get into more specifics, right? Like, what were your top two things about Pizza Pie that you found the most helpful? Which I guess you talked about a little bit, but you could reiterate.
yeah. Um, the videos really help me, like if I didn't understand something, it wasn't just like, you know what, I'll learn it later or like I'll ask it on Saturday. Like, no, I clicked like each question had a video. So it's, each question's like a little bit different. So each question you explained it perfectly. So I like by the end of the video, whether it was like 15 minutes long or 3 minutes long, like perfectly explained, clear, and not I wasn't like, what, like
Yeah.
I got it step by step. Like that was amazing. I mean, I like the Saturday classes. I think it was perfect. Like I woke up, I got onto it, and it was like super like it wasn't boring. Like it kept me awake. If I'm awake for 4 hours, like I'm not bored. Like I'm into it and like I'm getting it. So that was like really good for me.
Especially in a math class.
Exactly. I like math though.
Well,
So
yeah, that you do like math. That does help.
yeah, if I get it. Like
Yeah,
if I'm
yeah.
understanding it, especially, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I saw. Those, I forget what it was that we talked about in the beginning. I feel like at first I was like, okay, like Lola's coming in. You didn't seem that confident, I remember. I
yeah.
think that's
Because
what it
I
was.
saw my practice test and I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna learn all these concepts? Like this is I was like, oh my God, like it's algebra, it's jump. And then
You just
yeah,
started, your score just started exploding out. I don't forgot at some point you just like I just saw it jump. And I think you had taken the November one, you had gone up 100, right?
yeah. 110 right off the bat.
And then he just kept going, which was awesome. I mean, I guess I'm starting to get used to that. Like, but at a certain point, yeah, I don't know. These jumps are
No,
looking kind
because
of crazy now.
like also on the test, like I didn't think it was gonna match up perfectly. Like all the practice tests, all of like the specific topics, like the program like mastered everything. Like everything I learned at some point was on the practice test or on the real SAT for me. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I saw this. I know how to do it, you know? Like I
Yeah,
didn't
and
miss
it's
one thing.
sometimes I think that some of the practice tests that we give, like sometimes they're I don't know if they're harder or I don't know what happens, but like somehow it works. Like the even
Yeah.
I don't even know what we do and how it works. Even I'm like, man, like I know what I'm doing, but like sometimes I'm like, how does it work that well?
Yeah.
That makes me happy. I mean, when I saw these results, and you know what? Maybe I'm a little traumatized still from like it hasn't always been this crazy consistent because that's the key, right? Like having a few kids go up a lot, cool. But when
Yeah.
it's like almost every kid in the program goes up at least 100 and a bunch going up 200, you're kind of like, okay,
Something is working.
yeah, this is dope. Everything's working, right? Like, I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what it is, but I don't know, bro. But basically, I guess
Yeah.
what you're saying is that it just felt like everything that we went over was there, is what you're saying.
Everything. Like, no, my mom asked me after because okay, so I was sleeping when like my score came out. Like my mom opened it for me when she was like walking the dog. Just she was like, let me just check because the batches for 7 to 8 already went out. So she was like, it was like 11. She checked, and she wakes me up. She's like, oh, like, oh my God, you know? And I was like, wow, like, and she told my, like, I told her my score and I was like, wow, whatever. She told me my math score. That's what got me the most happy because I was like, oh my God, like all my work, like finally, like, like it showed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh
So,
my God. Like,
so what was it? What was the final score and the total improvement?
so I started with a 520 on my first PSAT, and then I ended up getting a 720, which was 200 points improvement.
Hey, first of
Crazy.
all, congrats. Because I mean, we showed you the way, but like you said, you did the work.
Yeah, but still crazy to me. Like, oh my God, I can't. Ugh.
So yeah, I mean, if you know a bunch of other Lolas, we had a class of Lola that'd be fucking great, bro.
Yeah.
Um, just it's nice to have students that just put in the work, yo. So what has this result meant for you or enabled you to do?
So it actually enabled me to get a full ride of Bright Futures, which
Yes.
is great. And I feel like it raised my chances to get into some of the more competitive schools, like the more competitive colleges. Yeah. So
Where
those are both
you,
two great opportunities.
what are your, what schools are you thinking about?
Like this one's everyone, like UT, Michigan, Tulane, UF, like just all of it, all the ones everyone wants.
What do you need to get into those schools?
Well, for UF, like it's a combination of things. Like I really believe that because I know some people that applied to like FSU with like 14 something, 15, you know what I mean? Like crazy scores and they didn't get in and people that got like a 13 or people that got like less,
Right.
got in. And I just feel like it's like the essay also, like your college essay, your grades, your actual, it's really a bunch of things, but like SAT is a major, major part of it. So
Well, yeah, I was about to say in Florida, you can't even go test optional.
that's what I'm saying. Like you now it's like test optional around, but like I want to be able, and now I'm confident enough to apply to Florida schools. And if anything happens, I know it wasn't because of my SAT score. Like I was like, that's not the problem.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Wait, is your math better than your reading now? Or-
Yeah.
oh, okay.
I got like my split was 100 points different. Now I have to like because I focused more on math and it obviously showed.
Yeah.
So I was like, now it's time to do reading. So I'll just like super score.
You might
Yeah.
be surprised. Math might keep going up, to be honest.
No, yeah, obviously I'm hoping for that, but like if anything, like worst case, like, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Get me up closer to the test. I'll probably have some new stuff. I've been saying this for like years, but
Oh my God. Wait, are you starting the reading now or no? When are you
yeah, yeah,
starting the reading?
yeah. No, we did the reading in the summer. So we've done like two iterations of it already, right? Now, obviously they're changing the whole thing on us, so it's like, well, thanks. Um,
Yeah.
but we're going hard to like kind of like because we analyzed to see how different it was. And it's like the format's different, but the topics to go over are the same. So at least that. And we're still able to use a lot of the stuff that we had from the previous one. But anyways, so yeah, we've had two iterations, and like obviously the first time we did the reading, like the results weren't that crazy. Like at least especially compared to the math, it was people
Yeah.
people take our math and you do the reading, then they're kind of like like I think like some kids had gone up like 80, but then others only went up like 40 or 60, which I mean that's
All I need is,
solid,
like,
but that's not 150.
yeah, but I just need like, because me and Danny were talking about it, like Danny Sutton,
Yeah.
and we were like, we really want to do it. And I think he asked you, and you were like, we're still building it, like, just like wait until the digital. So now, like, I'm gonna talk to him about it because I just need to go up like a little bit. Like, I just need a 1400. Like, I just need 60
How
points,
much?
literally.
60? Yeah, I mean, so like look,
Out of 13. So I just at least I just need like 1400.
in the prep course that we just did right now, like one person went up 90, one went up 80, one went up 70, 60, 610 and 650. They were doing math and reading though at the same time. I don't recommend that. So what ended up happening is that towards the end, like they had gone up like 40 on the reading in the November test, right? So then they were like, okay, for December, which one do I focus more on? And their math hadn't gone up that much. And I'm like, bro, our math was better. So the fact that you went up in reading and none of math, I'm like, you got to shift, like, focus on math, damn it. And then they
Yeah,
did that,
that's
and their
me.
math, yeah,
I
their
was
math
like,
went up like more, but then their reading stayed, like it didn't. All
yeah,
right, keep
thank
me
you so
posted with
much.
whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna repost the video, so I can't wait to see it. Thank you
I appreciate everything. All right, awesome. You're the best.
so much.
We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.